That's weird. Can't get any information on the phases of the moon. Oh, that's right. The moon left in 1999. In the 1970s, Jerry Anderson of Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet fame did a show called Space 1999, chronicling the adventures of the inhabitants of Moonbase Alpha, a permanent base on the near side of the moon, which was blasted out of orbit by the explosion of a massive storage of nuclear waste. So today, working by the criteria of story rather than cheap special effects or bizarre costumes, I'm going to be displaying my personal 10 best episodes of Space 1999. The moon comes across a gigantic city in space. This is a ship populated by the Darians, who left their planet when their sun went nova, and have been traveling for 900 years of a planned 1,000-year journey using this generation starship. They offer the Alphans a chance to come along on this voyage, only to find that they're hiding a very dark secret, and the so-called mission of the Darians may be one to destroy not only the Alphans, but ultimately themselves. In search of a rare mineral, they find the planet Psychon. This planet is ruled over by a man named Mentor, played by Brian Blessed, who is using a machine called Psyche to reconstruct matter in hopes of saving his planet, which is undergoing some serious geological upheaval. His beautiful daughter Maya is completely devoted to him, but she gradually begins to learn that fueling Psyche requires a rather serious sacrifice, and she has to make a choice whether to side with her father, who hopes to save the planet at a terrible cost, or helping the Alphans escape, and quite possibly saving herself and her very soul in the process. Of the 300-odd people trapped on Alpha when the moon left Earth's orbit, one of them is Commissioner Simmons, a politician, who naturally enough doesn't fit in very well with the life on Alpha, and has been needling Koenig to try to find a way to return to Earth no matter the cost. When an alien spacecraft arrives, using a type of deep stasis, and a journey that would take about 300 years, they offer to take one Alphan along, and Simmons is determined to be that one, no matter if he has to threaten all of Alpha in the process. Investigating a system with 2 Earth-like planets, Koenig discovers that the nearest planet has a huge city and everything needed for survival, but the entire populace is dead, having been killed by some sort of virulent biological weapon. They fly to the second planet and discover it's actually a penal colony with a bunch of male prisoners and female guards. He tries to tell the warden of the fate of the people back on their world, and that if they're going to want to survive, they're going to have to abandon the idea of the prison and start to repopulate as a free people, and discovers that the warden is not only fully aware of the circumstance, but has been deliberately lying in order to keep her political power and her insane idea of treating the prisoners as prey in a bizarre game. Koenig is a threat to her power, and threats, in her view, should be removed. Several years earlier, an attempt to explore a nearby planet from Earth had resulted in only one survivor, with no one believing his wild tales of a spaceship graveyard in orbit and some sort of insane monster that had killed his entire crew save him. Then Alpha encounters the same phenomena around a completely different planet, and it's time for this man to face his demons, both psychological and literal. While Koenig and Alan are outside in an Eagle, the moon passes through a space warp, leaving Koenig and Alan with a abandoned alien spacecraft which has apparently been attempting to chart the warp themselves. While they struggle to find a way to figure out how to activate their own agents to follow Alpha, Maya's shape-changing abilities begin to grow wildly out of control, influenced by the effects of the warp, and she goes on a rampage throughout Alpha, changing into a variety of incredibly dangerous creatures, unable to control her actions, and faces the possibility that to save everyone, they may have to kill her. The Elephants encounter a asteroid containing a humanoid prisoner. This man is named Baylor, and explains that his people had developed the process of total cellular regeneration. His body is constantly renewing itself, so nothing can actually kill him, or even hurt him for more than a few seconds. He explains he was a political prisoner, exiled for offering the people a release from the ennui of, basically being immortal, and offers to teach his techniques and powers to the Alphans. But his powers have a dark price, and they find themselves having to battle against an evil alien who literally cannot die. Passing near a planet named Ultima Thule, they discover a lost human expedition. It seems they'd also passed through a time warp and had been there for several thousand years, completely unaged. The planet is an icy wasteland, and the leader, played once again by Brian Blessed, has been trying to find a way to figure out exactly why they're immortal on this planet, and plans to leave, spreading essentially a holy crusade, giving the gift to all of the planets they encounter. The idea is for him and his counterpoints, a man who had been driven insane by the experiments, to come to Alpha and explain the situation. They soon discover that death is a harsh mistress, and that while Thule may be eternally, it's far from a paradise. A number of one-person space pods enter into the moon's gravitational field, and upon opening two, they find that they are people who were exiled from their homeworld 300 years earlier. They have apparently not aged, and they offer the opportunity to help the Alphans by figuring out a way to extend the capacity of the life support system so they can actually start having children and possibly make the moon a proper way to live. These people, however, are far from noble, and they have a much darker purpose, involving a vengeance that's waited over 300 years. A gigantic alien spacecraft calling itself Gwent arrives on the moon. Its only occupant is an elderly man referred to as Companion. They demand certain supplies from the Alphans, and Koenig agrees. They're thus horrified to discover, when the Companion dies of old age, that either he, Helena, or Professor Bergman will take his place for the rest of their lives, or Alpha will be destroyed. So those are my choices for the best 10 episodes of Space 1999. Do you agree with this list? You have others you consider to be better? Let me know in the comments. This is Some Canadian Guy, and that's my $2.